Yes, welcome back to Classic Dirt Bike TV and, of course, to the last and the final video of the racing highlights from the Scottish Classic Round 4 event that was held at Slamannan near Falkirirk. Now, in this Part 3 clip, we'll showcase the remaining last 8 races from this end of season event. But as you can see, the riders are all lined up for the next race, and this, of course, will be race at 17, and this is the pre-77s, under and over 40s, and the over 50s, including the 125s. So as the riders leave the line, it looks like Liston Bell, number 98's made quite a good start there. He's been going very well this afternoon on that 500cc Jawa. So at the bottom of the track on lap 1, you can see it is indeed Liston Bell who leads Mike McClurty on the little CR125 Honda. So it's a big 500 4-stroke who leads in a little 2-stroke 125. Quite a good selection of different sizes and CCs of machines in this particular race. And currently we are taking a look at number 686. That's Gary Colnell on the little RM 125 Suzuki. Oh. Unfortunately, the curse of the commentators has struck immediately there. I was just about to say how quite well Gary was going this afternoon, and then he ends up dropping his bike. And here's the battle between number 125 Ian Stainton and number 254 just behind there. That's John Miller on his CR125 Honda. And just to reiterate, these of course are the age-related races, which is based on the age of the rider and not the particular size of machine or what particular class the bike fits into. So that's why you have a good combination here between this big 500cc 4-stroker of Liston Bells at the front and number 416 is Mike McClurty's 125 behind. So they're coming round to complete another lap, and it's still Liston Bell, number 98 at the front of the pack. And it's still Mike McClurty in second position. This is your third placed rider, Ian Stainton, just going through there on the Alan Clues Stroker 4-stroke bike. Number 254 is John Miller again on his little CR125 Honda. So we're currently looking at number 416. It's Mike McClurty, who's I think he's riding a 1988 or 89 CR125 Honda. So Mike's another rider that's had a very good afternoon here at Slamannan. And I think Mike is currently leading the 125 part of this particular race. So he comes round to complete another racing lap. There's number 171, that's Brian Atkinson on that lovely and quite rare MR 250 Honda. Number 154 again is the only lady rider that's riding here at this round 4 event. That's Gillian Murray, going well on her 250 Can-Am. So we're back to the front of the pack once again, and we are looking at number 98, Liston Bell, who's almost certainly leading the pre-77 part of this combined race. So Liston again is another one of the riders who've been going very well here this afternoon. It's still Mike McClurty in second position, leading at the 125 as we take a look at number 5. That's James Newby on one of those lovely Cagiva Italian bikes. Number 254 just coming through again is John Miller, as we take another look at number 154 Gillian Murray on the 250 2-stroke Can-Am. So as our race leader heads towards the checkered flag, is going to be another decent win here for number 98, Liston Bell, and coming across the line in first place for the 125s, it will be Mike McClurty. And here's your second place rider in the 125 class. It's number 5, James Newby on the Kajiva. So strangely enough, from race 17, that brings us on to race 18. And these are the pre-77s, and these are the over 60s and 65 class. As you can see, not too many riders in this class, because the rider numbers do tend to dwindle away as we get near the end of the day's programme, and that's usually down to broken bikes or possibly even broken bodies. But these few that have lined up for this race are still keen to keep going, as we take a look at number 24. That's Sam Sibbald on his TT 500 4-stroke Yamaha. Second place is number 118, that's Callum Sangster on the Twinport CZ. So you can see that Sam Sibbald is off to the very best of starts in this race as he comes round to complete lap 1. But it looks like our second placed rider, number 118, Callum Sangster's got some issues with that Twinport CZ bike. I think he appears to have it running again, so hopefully Callum will get back on track and start challenging for track position as a race leader now pulls up trackside. So it looks like Sam Sibbald has also got some problems there. I don't know if Sam's maybe just stalled it going into the corner there, but he's certainly having to refire that TT500. We're looking at our new race leader now. That's number 13. That's Jim Allison on his 1974 Alan Clues 4-stroke CCM. So Jim is now your new race leader because of Sam Sibbald and Callum Sangster having mechanical issues. Now, in my last video clip, you may remember I did mention that there was a few of these Scottish lads were heading over to the MXDN event in the Czech Republic soon after this meeting, which they actually did, although soon after they arrived, the event was then cancelled due to some kind of rain thunderstorm. So it's a bit of a shame that it was cancelled at such short notice, but I expect the guys still made the most of it and hit the local beer outlets to drown their sorrows. But allegedly it was so wet over there that it was just far too dangerous to run that event. So it's a shame about all of the effort and expense that the guys put in to make that journey. So this is your current race leader coming round to complete another racing lap, Jim Allison on the CCM. Number 166 there is Alan Reid on his lovely BSA Victor. Looks like Sam Sibbald's up and running once again. He's currently in third position. And as I mentioned previously, you're probably aware that this has been the shortest racing season ever for the Scottish club, and quite some time, because it was supposed to be an 8-round championship that was scheduled for this year, but the club have only managed to run 4 rounds, and that's due to various different reasons of bad weather at the start of the year and the sale of land on some of the other tracks that we normally race on. So hopefully we'll get a full programme of events sorted out for 2025. So there's your second placed rider. Looks like Sam Sibbald is back up into second position once again as we take a look at our race leader, number 13, Jim Allison, heading to take the checkered flag. And I've actually been told by one of my YouTubers to stop saying last and final lap, because apparently he gets all upset if I keep repeating those words. But here's number 13, Jim Allison, heading to take the win in this race 18 of the afternoon, so we still have about 6 races left to feature. So it's going to be a win for number 13, Jim Allison on the CCM. Sam Sibbald has managed to get that bike up and running again, and he's going to cross the line in second position. Number 166 again is Alan Reid. He's done very well this afternoon on his BSA Victor. So we're going to go straight into race 19 now. And this is the second race for the pre-1984s under and over 40s and over 50s. And you can see the weather is a lot better now than it was first thing this morning, with that fog covering most of the track. But it looks like number 25, Craig Smith, has made an absolute blast out of the gate on that big black Michael. So Craig Smith has certainly been the star of the show here this afternoon, because I think he's already got about 4 or 5 wins under his belt thus far. So he's off to the best of starts in this race 19. So Craig Smith, number 25, is already coming around to complete at lap 1. Second position at this stage is number 38. That's Chad Stevenson, just making his way through the corner there. Number 67 is Mike Tweddle, who's also had a very good afternoon here at Strathallan. And we take a look at number 334. That's Kevin Smith, and it appears that Kevin's now got that bike all nicely sorted after the lunch break, and it seems to be going a lot better than it did in the first part of the race programme. So it's still number 25, Craig Smith, on lap 2, who's your race leader at the front. The gas engineer from my local city of Dunfermline, which of course used to be a town, but it's now been promoted to city status. So another hometown boy there, number 25, Craig Smith, as he comes round to complete lap 2. Second position is now Mike Tweddle, number 67. Chad Stevenson is now currently in third position. Number 327, just going through there, is Stuart Muirhead on his 1980 250 Michael. And number 43 there is Mike van der Merwe, riding Andy Mallock's 414 Montesa Capra. So we're back up looking at our second placed position rider, number 67, Mike Tweddle, on the 250 Honda Red Rocket. So as I said, Mike's had a very good afternoon here at Strathallan. He's been riding very well on this 250 Red Rocket. I think it's a 1979 model that Mike's currently riding. There's your third place man, just going through, number 38, Chad Stevenson, also on a Red Rocket, as we take another look at Aberdeen man, number 334, Kevin Smith on his black 490 Michael. So it's still number 25, Craig Smith, out at the front of this race. He's coming round to complete another lap, but he's looking very comfortable at this stage. There's your second placed man, Mike Tweddle, just crossing the finish line, as we take another look at number 43, Mike van der Merwe, on that 414 at Montesa. And just to let you know that Classic Dirt Bike TV will of course be off the air for a few weeks after this posting, because I'm off to the USA for some quality time with the family. But on my return, we'll get back to business and bring you more of those old classic dirt bikes for you to have a look at throughout the closed winter period. There's your second place man crossing the line, Mike Tweddle, and number 38 in third is Chad Stevenson, both of those riders on the 250 two-stroke Red Rockets. and that's Stuart Muirhead just crossing the line on his 250 Michael, just ahead of Mike van der Merwe. So this looks like it's going to be win number 5, I think, for Craig Stevenson as he heads towards the checkered flag. So another fantastic performance by this very talented twin shock rider. So it's a win for Craig Smith, and coming across in second position will be this man here, number 67, Mike Tweddle. He's going to cross the line just ahead of number 38, Chad Stevenson. So that brings us quite nicely to race 20. These are the pre-1984 over aged 58 years. So as the riders blast from the start line, it's Chris Cannon who looks like he's made a good start, but he's already been passed by this man here, number 75, David Loudon, on that very quick YZ 490 Yamaha. And David's another one of the riders who loves his YZ Yamahas. He races this 490, and he's also got a lovely 465 Yamaha that he sometimes races. So we take a look at number 341. That's Alistair Aitken from Oban in Scotland. But here's your race leader coming round to complete lap 1. It's David Loudon on the YZ 490 Yamaha. Second place is that man there, number 81, Chris Cannon. Third place is Mike Doby, who's going very well on that 250 Honda Red Rocket. So Mike Doby's off to a very good start as well in this race. So here's your race leader, David Loudon, number 75. Another one of the riders who does quite a lot for the Scottish Classic Club with regards track building, etc. So as you can see, David going very well on that two-stroke 490 YZ. So that's another lap completed for David. Second position should be Chris Cannon, number 81, making his way across the line. Third place is still Mike Doby. So Mike Doby doing very well to keep up with those bigger bikes in front of him. That's number 37 just heading up the hill there on the white bike. That's David Herdman, but it looks like Callum Sangster's got a problem with his classic KTM there, number 124. Remember, we were looking at Callum riding Kenny Harper's Twinport CZ bike earlier on. Callum's got his old KTM out for a spin, but he seems to be having some kind of issues with that old classic. But no such problems for this man here, number 75, David Loudon, as he completes another lap. Second place is still Chris Cannon, number 81 on the RM 400 Suzuki. Looks like Callum Sangster's managed to get that KTM up and running. Number 341 is Alistair Aitken on his twin shock 490 Michael. But to be fair, the racing at this round 4 event hasn't exactly been a classic in the true sense of the word with regards the battles on the track and the amount of riders on the course, although you have to still say a big well done to everybody who made this round 4 happen, and of course to the guys and to the ladies who took the time to put their bikes on the track and serve up some kind of spectacle, entertain the limited amount of spectators who turned up to have a look at these old classics do their stuff on this old school racetrack. So we're currently looking at number 81, Chris Cannon, on his RM 400 Suzuki. Chris has also done quite well here this afternoon. I think he led quite a lot of the races in the first part of the race programme, but he's playing at second position to this man here, number 75, David Loudon, who crosses the line. Callum Sangster's got his old KTM up and running once again, so it's Callum Sangster just going through there to start his last lap. So it's number 75, David Loudon, on his 5th out of 5 laps. So, as you can gather, this will be the final circuit for David. I'm trying very hard not to say the last and final lap, but here he comes. It's David Loudon who's going to chalk up another race win as he takes the checkered flag. Second place is going to be that man there, number 81, Chris Cannon. So next up, we're on to race 21. And this is the next race for the pre-1977s over and under 40s and 50s. And this race also includes the 125s. So still a decent amount of riders in this combined race as they line up for their final race of the day. So it looks like number 416, Mike McClurty, and number 98, Liston Bell, have both made a good start from the gate. So currently it's Mike McClurty who is in front of number 98, Liston Bell, who appears to be this time out riding his younger brother Lewis's CCM. So as I come round to complete lap 1, it's Mike McClurty in front of number 98, Liston Bell. So it's a little 125 two-stroke who leads the big 500cc single cylinder 4-stroke CCM. And as I mentioned, that's the good thing about these age-related races is the second part of the race programme, because you get a quite good contrast between the little 125 two-strokes and the bigger single-cylinder 4-stroke bikes of Liston Bells, and it usually ends up as a nice spectacle. So it's still number 416, Mike McClurty, your race leader. Second is number 98, Liston Bell. And third position here is number 5, James Newby, on that lovely Kajiva 125. And as I said, this is one of 2 Kajivas that we'll be having a look at in a future video here on my Classic Dirt Bike TV channel. So that's James Newby there in third position. We are taking a look at number 6. That's young Andrew King riding that lovely Matisse Matchless. That's an old bike that belongs to Charlie Robertson. So Mike McClurty is still managing to keep Liston Bell in second position. So Mike McClurty has gone extremely well on this little 125 here at Strathallan. There's James Newby currently in third position on that beautiful Kajiva. Just behind James there is this man here, number 171. That's Brian Atkinson on the MR Honda. That's an American spec machine. I think that bike used to be an enduro bike at one time, but Brian's still going very well on that little two-stroker. But Liston Bell appears to be closing in on number 416, Mike McClurty. But of course that little Honda 125 will be quicker and more nimble in and out of the corners than the big 500 single-cylinder 4-stroker of Lewis Bells. But this is quite a good combination between the little 125 and the big 500cc thumper. Third place there is again number 5, James Newby, as we are back with Andrew King on the big single-cylinder 4-stroke Matchless Matisse. As I said, that's a bike that belongs to Charlie Robertson, but Charlie likes to give Andrew the bike to give it a run out at these classic events. So it's still a battle royal here at the front between number 416 Mike McClurty, number 98 Liston Bell, and of course number 5 James Newby on the 125 Kajiva. But as they come to the checkered flag, it's going to be a win for number 4. Whoops! It's going to be a win for 416 Mike McClurty, but looks like Liston just unfortunately dropped his bike into that corner just before the checkered flag. So that brings us on to race 22 for the pre-77s over 60s and 65s. And as you can see, the numbers coming to the line are getting less and less as the day goes on. Only 3 riders lining up for this race. This is the kind of race that I would have loved to have ridden in. At least I would have ended up getting a podium position. But only 3 riders. We've seen Jim Allison there, number 24 is Sam Sibbald, and number 166 is Alan Reid. So only these 3 riders in this race. So it's number 24, Sam Sibbald on the TT 500, who has the early lead on lap 1. And as long as these 3 riders can keep their bikes upright and on the track, they'll at least get a podium position each at the end of this race. But Sam Sibbald has made the early running. Number 24 second is Jim Allison on the 1974 CCM, and third place currently is number 166, that's Alan Reid on his BSA 500 Victor. Now, there are still plenty of videos for you to take a look at here on my Classic Dirt Bike TV channel throughout the closed racing season. We've got plenty racing footage in there, and of course profiles of old vintage dirt bikes, and I think there's around 2,500 videos on my channel currently, so I'm pretty sure that you could find something in there to occupy yourself when there's no racing during the winter. So we're looking at number 24, our race leader, Sam Sibbald. As I said, a vastly experienced rider. Sam's been riding motocross ever since he was a schoolboy, when he used to be in the Scottish Formula Bantam Club, when he raced the old BSA Bantams as a schoolboy. But almost 50 odd years later, you can see he's still riding these old classic motocrossers. So that's Sam Sibbald, your race leader. Second place is at number 13, Jim Allison on the 74 500 CCM, and number 166 is still Alan Reid in third position. And Sam Sibbald is once again another rider who loves his big TT Yamaha 4-strokers. You may remember we had a look at Sam's backup bike when we were doing our paddock walkabout video, but this is his number 1 race bikes as he crosses the line to start his last lap. So still number 13, Jim Allison in second position. Alan Reid's another rider that's been going very well here this afternoon, and he's coming across the line in third. So although this has only been a 3-horse race, naturally you still have to be there at the end to win the race, and it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen to this man here, number 24, Sam Sibbald. So just one more turn to go to head towards that checkered flag. Second place is going to be this man here, number 13, Jim Allison, who's also ridden very well here at Slamannan, and we're just going to pick up our third placed rider as he makes his way towards the checkered flag. So it's going to be a good third place finish here for number 166, Alan Reid. And as I said, Alan's riding his lovely BSA 500 Victor. So that brings us on to the penultimate race of the afternoon. This is the last race for the pre-1984s under and over 40s and over 50s class, and it's that man again, Craig Smith on the Myco twin shocker, who's made the early running in this race. So I think if Craig wins this race, it'll be 6 out of 6 wins for Craig on the day. So it's been an almost perfect afternoon in that respect for Craig Smith, number 25, as he comes round to complete lap 1 already. So as I said, that's a very quick lap here at Strathallan. Second position is number 67, Mike Tweddle. Third is number 327, that's Stuart Muirhead on the 250 Michael. And just behind Stuart is Chad Stevenson. Number 85, again just making his way through there, is Ian McKean on the 250 YZ Yamaha. But as I mentioned, it's just a shame that it's been such a short racing season for the Scottish Classic Club this year. But as I said earlier, it's absolutely nothing to do with the organisers. It's events out with their control. So hopefully we'll have a much better season in 2025. So here's your race leader crossing the line to complete lap 2. It's number 25, Craig Smith. Still Mike Tweddle, number 67, in second position. Stuart Muirhead is moved up into third place on that 250 Michael, a 1980 model. It's quite similar to the one that I used to race myself back in the day, although mine was the bigger 440. So Craig Smith coming round again to complete lap 3, so he's still looking very comfortable at the front of this race. Number 67 is Mike Tweddle on the 250 Red Rocket. Stuart Muirhead again just coming through on the 250 Michael. Number 17 there is Mike van der Merwe, and Mike's riding his own RM 370 Suzuki this time out. Number 334 is Kevin Smith. And remember, Kevin had a few issues with this bike in the first part of the race programme, but he's going very well here after he's had that particular issue with the engine sorted. And as I remember, I think it was a jetting issue with Kevin's bike, and some of the more knowledgeable guys in the paddock helped Kevin out and got that particular engine jetted correctly. Stuart Muirhead again crossing the line as we take another look at Mike van der Merwe on the 370 twin shock Suzuki. That's another one of those bikes that you very seldom see at these kind of classic events. So when Craig Smith comes round to cross the finish line this time round, he'll be starting his final tour of this Strathallan race circuit. So he's certainly been the man on form this afternoon here at this round 4 event at Strathallan. Kevin Smith still going well on the Michael 490. Stuart Muirhead again, number 327 on his 250 1980 bike. As I remember, my old 1980 440 wasn't the greatest handling machine of its day, but then again that could just be me. But it looks like Mike Tweddle is parked trackside. It looks like Mike's got some kind of problem with his CR250 Honda Red Rocket. But here's the man coming round to make it 6 wins out of 6 race starts. So it's a big well done to number 25 Craig Smith. And I think this is going to be our second placed rider as he comes round to take the checkered flag. Number 327 Stuart Muirhead on his 250 two-stroke Michael. So that quite nicely brings us on to the last race of the afternoon. This is race 24 for the Queen 1984s over aged 58 years. So we're just looking to the bottom section of the track to pick up our race leader, and it looks like it's number 75, David Loudon on the YZ 490 Yamaha. Second position looks like it's Chris Cannon. In third, I think that could be number 16, Mike Foster. In third position, Mike's riding, I think that's a 480 Honda that Mike Foster's currently on. So we're looking at number 81, Chris Cannon, in second position on the RM 400 Suzuki. So you may remember that Chris finished second to David Loudon in that previous race. And actually, I'd like to make a quick correction there. I think that's a 250 Suzuki that Chris Cannon is out this time on. So he was riding his 400 in an earlier race, but I think he's using the 250 in this race, which probably tells me why he can't catch this man here, number 75, David Loudon, because David is riding that much bigger YZ 490 Yamaha. So it's David Loudon currently your race leader. Chris Cannon is in second position on the RM 250 Suzuki. And number 75, David Loudon, I think he's already won a couple of races in this class. So David certainly looking good at this stage of the race. So David Loudon coming across to complete another racing lap. We're looking at number 16, Mike Foster on the 480 Honda. Third place is Mike Doby there on the 250 Honda Red Rocket, who goes blasting past Mike Foster's 480 Honda. So there's David Loudon just going through. Chris Cannon there in second position. This is, of course, just one of a couple of Suzukis that Chris has brought along to this event this afternoon. Like I said, he was out riding his RM400 in an earlier race, but he's decided to give his 250 a run out in this final race of the day. So we're looking at third place man there, number 27, Mike Doby, and behind Mike is number 124, that's Callum Sangster on that classic KTM. So Callum Sangster again going well on that Austrian made KTM. So out front, it's still number 75, David Loudon. Looks like Chris Cannon could have made up some ground on David Loudon. So Chris Cannon still giving a good account of himself there, even though he's out horsepowered by that bigger bike of David Loudon. So Chris Cannon still in second position, but David Loudon is certainly the man to beat at the front. So as these guys come round to complete another lap, we're looking at number 81, Chris Cannon on the 250 Suzuki. There's your third placed rider, number 27, Mike Doby on his Honda Red Rocket. That's not a fully original bike, of course, but nevertheless quite quick, as you can see. So I do hope you've enjoyed this footage, and of course the footage from some of the other outdoor events that I've covered during 2024, and hopefully we'll have a much better season next year, so we'll be able to showcase more of this kind of classic racing in 2025. But here's your race leader coming round to start his final tour of this Slamannan racetrack. It's number 75, David Loudon. We're back with number 124, Callum Sangster, who is, as I've said, riding the KTM this time and not the twin port CZ that we saw him riding in the earlier races. But that's of course an old monoshock KTM that Callum's riding. As we take another look at number 37, and that's David Herdman. And David Herdman's also riding a 250 white rocket as opposed to the more common red rocket machines. So as we take a look at our race leader heading towards the checkered flag, that just more or less wraps up all of the racing highlights from this round 4 event here at Slamannan. So I do hope that you've enjoyed all 3 parts of the racing from this event. Now, on my return after the summer break, this will be the very first bike that we'll be featuring here on my CDB TV channel of quite rare little water-cooled 125 machines. So don't forget to return to CDB TV to take a look at this beautiful machine. But for the time being, thanks for watching, and until the next time, it's goodbye for now.